Alright guys, thanks for coming back. We are now on part 2 of this build, and this is going to be a real quick one. Like I said, all we're doing today is we're going to tie in this Hamskea Trinity Hunter Pro and this limb-driven arrow rest, and I'm going to get it fairly square using that Van Handle Pro Tune system. So let's jump right in. So in order to do this, I'm going to bring you in tight, and you're going to see mostly the bow. I wish I had a solid backdrop, but I'm working with what I got, and this is what the bow shop looks like with all the different hunting gear around, etc. So that's what it looks like. We're going to bring you in tight, and I'm going to show you what we did here. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is I actually got a little antsy earlier after I got off of work, and I tied this in just because I wanted to take a couple shots and see what the draw cycle felt like on this bow. So I'm going to show you how I tied it in, like I talked about on yesterday's part 1. So here I'm going to zoom in onto my bottom axle, and I actually brought the limb-driven cord down, loosened up these Allen screws here just enough that I could lift this plate with a pocket knife and slide my cord under. I haven't cut the tail yet. I will before I really get the bow out to shoot more. But I went ahead and tied that around and then tightened this down. Next, they talk about further up here. Let me slide the camera up. You see this here. When I tied this in, I went ahead and had this slid up a little bit further to where my rest was risen. Maybe you can see a little bit better from that view. Sorry, my bow is actually much higher than my tripod wants to go. Me and my dogs are going nuts upstairs, right above me, of course. So, the first thing I did is you're going to pull this down. It's got just a little slide here, you see. And you're going to pull that down until this rest just makes contact. And I'm going to try to get another view of that, and I'll show you on the split screen. But after you got that down to just where it's just making contact, you'll bring this O-ring back up. And this O-ring slid over the metal plate and actually lock that string in place. So now we're locked down. That's our tightness when our axle is at its static position. And that's pretty much how we tie it in. So I'm going to bring you back around just a little bit further and show you how we're going to square this using the Van Handle bow tuner. The Van Handle bow tuner, you saw part of it on part 1 as far as the level I was using for the arrow. We're going to go ahead and put an arrow in. When you're doing something like this, if you just loosen that metal clip, it's going to let your rest come back up on these limb-driven systems, opposite of that QAD system. That's going to let your rest come back up to your neutral position where you were level. We've got the bow level back here using our string level. And then there's just a little piece that comes with this van handle that goes to your stabilizer. Only thing you have to take off of a bow if you're using this and your bow's already tuned is the stabilizer, and you're just going to put this little plug in there, and this is going to help us square our left to right. It's snug, so they say as long as it's snug it's going to work. On your arrow level, you see it's got this line in it. Yeah, I know it's kind of strange looking, I would just say. Maybe a little phallic, but whatever. It's got this line in it that's going to show you. So it's got them ball bearings again, so it's going to sit and it's going to drop dead flush as long as you're level back here on the string. So we're bringing this in and up to that stabilizer. And if I could show you the back, it's just a touch to the right, which tells me that the arrow is sitting just a touch to the right. It's actually just a touch high now back here. So we're just going to loosen this up and do our micro adjusters real quick. So I'm good on my vertical. Now we're going to look at that left to right, because like I said, we're just a little bit to the right here. And that should give us our dead left to right. You can use that whatever 17-30 seconds from the riser as a rough starting place, or if you have this Pro Tuner, it's a lot easier. It's just dead on from the stabilizer line. So now we've got the Hamskea tied in, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this tight again to the point where that arrow rest is just touching. And we're also roughly square, vertical and horizontal. So that is going to do it for part 2, just dealing with tying in that limb driven rest. And hopefully tomorrow we're going to get into part 3. I'm going to go ahead and get my bow sight on here, as well as getting the peep tied in. I don't know if I'm going to get them both done in one part or one or the other. Didn't split them up, but we're going to get back into it tomorrow. We're that much closer. I did shoot it like this tonight. It shoots awesome. I just shot it at the bail target down here, just to make sure that I could hit it. It shot great. I'm pumped to get it set up and start tuning it tight, getting it sighted in, and get to shooting more. But stay tuned. We'll be bringing you part 3 where we start working on the sighting. Thanks, guys.